Welcome back. This video will explain how to set up your invoicing module. There are a number of options available in the invoicing setup module. We're going to click the gear icon to the right side of the invoicing button, and on the left side of this screen, part 1 of 4, we can put the title of different invoicing documents here. For example, the sales proposal or the sales purchase agreement. You can call that anything you'd like simply by typing that in here. So if you don't want it to be called the patient agreement, then simply change that to sales agreement or sales contract or something that's appropriate for your style. You can just go down the list and see all the different options that are available here and go ahead and put in whatever desired title you would like there. Or just leave those, by the way, just leave those as they are if you're satisfied with the names that are there. On the right side, we've got a number of different preferences, and I'll try to go over each of those with you. Sometimes when you create more than 6 lines on a CMS 1500 form, the HCFA form for insurance billing, we generally like the program to warn you that you've gone over 6, and that's because for electronic billing, we can't bill for more than 6 lines at a time. You can print up to 12 lines with 2 separate forms when you're printing a form and mailing it in, but most of our customers will now send that information in electronically, and we recommend that you leave that box checked right there. You generally also want to use the invoice date for your line item dates, but there are times that you may say, no, I want the current date to be entered for every brand new line item. And you may wonder why that would be necessary. Well, some of our customers will create an invoice on one day and add new or change charges or things like that on a subsequent date. So we generally recommend that you just leave that checked, but if you'd rather it be the day you're entering it by default, you can certainly uncheck that. And you can also change the date manually on any line item or the invoice date itself as desired. If you want to open the e-billing window, for example, if you're sending information to a clearinghouse, you may want to have that open in a browser like Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, or Edge. Otherwise, it's going to open in a HearForm window, and there are advantages to each one of those things. The advantage of opening it in the HearForm window is that we can put in the password and login information right into the top of the screen, so you can decide which one's the best for you. We generally leave this checked. Do not ask if I want to create new invoices. Otherwise, if this is unchecked, each time you go to create a new invoice, your staff will be prompted with the, "Are you sure you want to?" Sometimes staff, especially when they're learning, will create a brand new invoice instead of going to a previously created invoice in order to apply a payment, for example. But it's a lot easier if you just leave that checked and then just train your staff to create a new invoice when a new invoice is needed, otherwise go to a previously created invoice. You can hide your logo on the bottom of different invoices or the top left, depending on whether it's a statement or an invoice itself, and you can just play around with that and see which one you think. I'm going to leave it unchecked. We generally will never use this. That's just for a certain small segment of our customers. And then you can require, in these bottom 4 here, you can require that a payer type be entered on invoices. Otherwise, it's going to warn you that a payer type has not been entered. The same is true for the office location, clinician, and referral source. Now, the bottom 3 are going to come in automatically onto an invoice if they were there to begin with when you first added a patient. So it will inherit that information from the home screen, and you generally won't have to enter it again. But if you did not have that information on the home screen, then it will not be able to inherit or look up that information. Again, these will just require your staff to kind of force them to have to put that information in. We generally like at least the assigned office and clinician. The assigned office is necessary in order to show the letterhead at the top of an invoice. So that information is very helpful, and you can decide whether it's appropriate to require it or not. Then down at the bottom, the discount, we have 2 discount options on the invoice itself. We can add a third, but you can have it automatically enter a 5 or 10% discount or any number that you want. For example, I could have it put in a 7.5% discount just by changing it there, and that's going to change the button on the home screen, on the invoice screen, and put whatever percentage that you want for that. Over to the right, this is just kind of a duplication of what we have on the invoice. There's a little icon in the upper right area of the payer area, and that's where you can say, well, with these up to these 10 separate third-party names, when I enter True Hearing as a payer type, I want it to automatically check a box that says it's third-party, so that I can then remove those with one click from my reports. And that will help you then to get more accurate reporting if you want to only show your standard hearing aid purchases and exclude those that are third-party names. So please always leave a number in here. Don't leave any of these blank, otherwise it kind of messes with the formula. So please put in up to 10 different third-party names there. Okay, well that's a lot on the first one, but the next 3 are a lot easier. This is where you can enter any legal text that's required for your state. For example, I have a button here since we have a lot of customers in California. You can click a button and it puts that Song-Beverly Act. It will appear in 10-point bold type on the purchase agreement. You can modify that text or put your own state law or copy and paste it from a website for your state if desired. But some states, New York, New Jersey, Florida, may have a lot of text that doesn't really fit very well, so you may have to ask us to help you directly with that information. For example, we may have to customize the purchase agreement so that it fits a lot tighter, but we try to fit everything onto one page, or you may even need to go to a second page depending upon your state requirements. As you can see, that's somewhat self-explanatory. Here's some verbiage. Look through that for the delivery receipt, for the warranty information if you want that on there. And then as we go to section 3, this is something that you can enter for estimates. I just have a simple sentence here, but you'll want to put in the desired text that you want to appear on your estimate, on your repair agreement. This one is a little bit more precise regarding a repair agreement. And if you like the text, this is something that we got from one of our other customers. I kind of like it, and you may say that's appropriate for your needs, otherwise change it. And the same is with the loaners down there. Finally, on this fourth section, you can customize your cancellation receipt comments. The medical waiver generally is not needed anymore unless you're working with a child under 18. You may know that as part of the OTC Act and the change that the Food and Drug Administration made recently. And the very last part is an opening and perhaps a closing for statements. This statement reflects that your balance of $300 is now due, or that your payment of $75 is due on January 1st, or whatever it is. But this is the opener for that. And we, of course, can customize your statement to put exactly what you want on there. But if you use this and just leave it alone, then it generally is going to work well for you. So these are the 4 separate screens that you'll want to consider working on as far as being able to customize your invoicing. Hope that helps.